Welcome to Mommy Mondays with Jen Pinto and Denisha Vargas. I hope you all are having an incredible, abundant Monday. I have another beautiful guest joining us today, Miss Monique, also known as Nurse Mo. Monique is a mom, an entrepreneur, a nurse, just an all-around bomb-ass woman who inspires me with how resilient she is and how transparent she is about motherhood. Because up in here, we keep it real. So I'm super excited to have you join us today. Welcome to Mommy
Thank
Monday.
you. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm happy to
So
be here.
this is super dope. Before we get started, I just want to talk about you have posted something today that I think we should kick off the show with. And you were just basically giving yourself your flowers and your props for being just doing what what you're doing. And I don't think a lot of us do that for ourselves, that we give ourselves that credit because we're so hard on ourselves. So let's start off with that, what you were talking about today.
Yeah, I was just like, honestly, I was in my car and I pull over because that's where all of my little downloads come from, because that's the space that I'm not being tormented by my child. And I'm not thinking about my bills and whatever else. I'm actually really comfortable vibing. I normally am in silence. And I just pulled over and was just like, oh, damn, you wanted a car. You have a car now. You wanted your son to go to a safe school. He does that now. You wanted a job. You have that now.
Mm.
And you wanted a home, and now you have that. And I moved here 6 months ago with very, 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 very little. If you want me to really keep it a buck with y'all later in this, I'll tell y'all how much I had in my account when I moved back. And like, I've been in a really negative space for the last couple weeks. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, my mom was like, where is your joy? You
Mm.
need to get back into your practice of your affirmations, your meditation, your yoga, like eating well. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I recently started a new job, and I haven't worked for anyone in 4.5 years, and now I'm doing it as a mom. I was an
Right.
entrepreneur for the last 4.5 years, and now working for someone as a mom has been a lot. Luckily, like, not luckily, thankfully, and I'm so blessed that I was able to move into something that like allows me to pick my kid up from school every day, have dinner with him, do things with him, have some time to myself. But I just really caught myself in a negative spiral, and one of the ways that I get out of that is just by like talking to myself exactly like that. And that's kind of what
Yes.
my Instagram has been over the years, is like giving myself pep talks that I know that, dang, I wish I had this 3 days ago when I was in the deep, dark pits of hell in my mind and shame and
Yeah.
guilt. And you know what I mean? So, it, yeah, I just wanted to give myself my props because, like, it's not easy raising children. It's not easy raising Black and brown children. It's not
Mhm.
easy starting over, and it's not easy humbling yourself, but still staying grand,
Yes.
and being grounded, but still dreaming. So I just wanted to give myself my flowers, and I just couldn't imagine how many other moms, just people in general, are getting up every day and doing this shit and not praising themselves at all. So I hope anybody who saw it felt good and felt like a little
Girl,
love sprinkled on them
you
too.
reminded me because I was like, you know what? I
Yes,
am the
Now that you
shit, damn
mention
it.
it,
Like I am doing great.
you're doing a good job.
We all are, and I love that for us, and I love that we can come in this space and be honest about things. And it's not about complaining, you know what I mean? It's just keeping it a buck about what this journey's about. And then, like you said, knowing how to keep yourself going, and there's certain things and practices that also help me. And I notice that when I don't stay consistent with it, I do fall into that dark space mentally
Hmm.
all the
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
But let's take
because
it
it's
back for
all
everybody. Tell everybody who you are, where you come from, how you got started in the medical field, and how you ended up in Costa Rica, and then with a
And how I,
baby.
with a baby. Damn, that's a long. All right, let me set myself a mental time limit. Okay. So I'm from Philadelphia, where I'm currently residing. I'm literally living in um like 5 miles within the geographic region of where I grew up. And I haven't lived here since I was 17 years old. I left for college, went to Hampton University. My vision was like kind of always like, I'm gonna get the fuck up out of here and like escape this reality. So that's why life is really funny. So my vision my vision overall as a teenager was like I just want to move really far away from here and really like create a life for myself that's different than this because I don't want to be in this. And Philly was not really sweet growing up. It's still not sweet. It wasn't like aesthetically pleasing and it also just wasn't safe. So I was really happy to go to college and it was like you either for $36,000 a year, you either be a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or do something because I was always like a hustler and thinking math and math. I was like, all right, well, if I'm not going to go to school for something in that I could definitely get a job in, I'm gonna just do like not just do, but I'm gonna become a hairdresser or a nail artist
Mhm.
or something like that.
Right.
Because I was always thinking about at a young age, like I was actually thinking about money a lot. And because I understood how valuable of a tool it was. So I went to college, I went to Hampton University, and like that was a really beautiful experience for me because it's a Black university, and it really just taught me a lot about the diversity that exists when like within us as a people. Like I didn't know that there were such affluent Black people in the world, like so
Mm.
like rich, loaded, you know what I mean? Like Bentleys and going to people's summer homes. And it was cool. And I never really came back during my breaks except for like Thanksgiving and small holidays. But I like stayed out the way. Like that was my goal was to kind of like leave and stay gone. And my mom liked that for me because she felt
Mhm.
like I was exploring. So I
Yeah.
spent some time in Virginia, got my BSN degree in nursing because I just knew that I remember they were going around the classroom like, why do you guys want to be nurses? And all these bitches were like, the angels came to me and my grandmother like and I nursed her to health and I was like, here's the thing, I'm from West Philly and I after going to school here and spending all this money, I need a job. I'm really good at math, I'm really good at science, and I love people.
Right.
So this seems like a vibe for me. And I remember my teacher just like putting her head down, like, oh God. So I was definitely like, I was like definitely like the Fresh Prince there, kind of like it was weird. Now that I think back on it, like I was a completely different flavor than a lot of these like really affluent Black families, but also there was a mix of us. So that was great. After I graduated, I went to Atlanta. I failed my boards to become a nurse 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Actually twice I
Mm.
failed. And it was like a really expensive, like just L. Like it was a big L. And it was really frustrating because I had went to school for all these years, spent the extra semester
Mhm.
there, spent a lot of money there, and then I couldn't even practice in what I wanted to do for a safe, secure thing. So
Mm.
what I did was I relied on my hustle during that time and I worked as a bartender, a waitress. I did bottle
Mhm.
service. I did everything I could. And then I also took a job as a CNA and I was a CNA with like $120,000 degree. And I didn't give a fuck, like at all. Like, cause I just was like, this is like, I'm learning my job. And I've always been like very practical learner. Like, I'm not really a book smart person at all.
Mhm.
So I need to learn by doing hands on. So, needless to say, I ended up passing my boards after the third time of taking it. It required me to go to like a prep course. I chose to do that. It was something that it was kind of my first time really investing in myself and realizing
Mm.
the value of discipline, like real discipline.
Right.
And as I get older and as a mother, I realize how valuable discipline is, you know?
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
that was at 23, like that was kind of, yeah, 23. That was my first lesson of discipline. And I really buckled down and I did that. I ended up working in Atlanta for 4 years. I worked at Grady Memorial Hospital. It's like where people go if you get shot in the face. Like that's where
Oof.
you want to go.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I mean, we dealt with, I mean, I would have people in comas that were rapists, mass murderers,
What?
shooters, like, but I would also have grandmothers there because we were a county hospital in Atlanta.
Mm.
And I learned a lot. And at 23, like I was going to the club, turning up, and then going to work at 7 a.m. It was nuts. Like it was
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Mm.
And I remember I knew that I wanted to do travel nursing because I was like, nurse, cool, got that. Travel, cool. And then maybe one day I can cut the nurse out and just travel.
Mm.
And so that was the vision. That was always the mission. And so I remember at the end of my contract with Grady, I just kept being like, I want to get the fuck out of here. And it was such a rat race because I was in contract with them and they had promised me this like sign on bonus after completing my 2 years. And I remember wanting to leave before that.
Mm.
And I felt like conflicted, like stuck because they sold me this dream of this money. So I ended up
Right.
leaving one day early and then I didn't get the money fucking anyway. And
Oh.
so at that point, I vowed that I was only going to do what I wanted to, like what I loved. You know what I mean? And I wasn't going to let a contract like hold me like that. And now I look at contracts a lot differently than I did before. Like I look at things as everything can be shifted, altered, everything, nothing is binding as we think it is. You can get out of many things or you can change
Absolutely.
your mind.
Yep.
So after that I did travel nursing for some years. I entered so many relationships. I mean, great one. I've had the finest niggas in my life and had a lot of fun. And I had a really good time. And while I was traveling to these different cities, I was always in some type of relationship, goodness, or dating or whatever and having fun. And I was buying myself nice stuff. I was making really good money. I was working a really smart girl job. It was cool.
Mm.
And then my last job as a travel nurse was in California, and I just started to see the workings of the healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like it was just a new pathway to lynch Black men
Mm.
and to harm Black women. And I just saw the cycle of the food to the medicine to the lack of education to the different multiple comorbidities. And I just needed a break from it because I didn't believe in it.
Mm.
And I believe in Western medicine. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of both. Like for instance,
Right.
my son has severe skin, like he has really bad skin issues. I won't call them
Mm.
severe, but since we moved to the States, we've been to 7 dermatologists and 3 allergists.
Wow.
And what actually healed him was a medical medium.
Oh, yes.
Um, so I was like, this lady charged $400 for 20 minutes. I'm booking her. And she told me 13 things that my son was allergic to.
Wow.
Um, that like was like, I cut out one and then within 3 days, his skin had cleared up. I was like, I can't do
Wow.
all this shit. So we're just going to do one at a time. So needless to say, I believe in Western medicine in the case of emergencies and
Yep.
but I just don't like how we blanket um like real issues and only treat the symptoms.
Yep.
And I'm not with that. Like cuz there's actual cures for things like in nature. Like when
Yes.
you go to nature you find a cure. When you go to medicine you find relief for the symptom and often that relief comes with 20 other different side effects.
Mm.
So I'm just really mindful about those kind of things. And when I was working in the hospital, it was very systematized. Like if at the time we were pushing pneumonia vaccines, everybody would get screened in a way for everyone to need a pneumonia vaccine, you know?
Right.
So it just would be like I saw the direct relationship with pharmaceutical companies, with nursing homes, with all these different with Medicare, with Medicaid, with all these different systems. And I just was like, I need a break because it's hard. It's easy to look away when you don't know, but when you know, it's just like, yo, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
So I started to kind of financially set myself up from the time I started travel nursing in 2014. I had my baby that will be relaunching next year. Her name's the Resilient Nurse, and basically what
Mm.
that it was just a platform for healthcare workers that were Black and brown, to showcase that like we had lives that we believed in like health and wellness outside of medicine. So I
Yes.
created this 32-person brand ambassador program that changed the face of healthcare to like include Black and brown and young people.
Wow.
And it was really cool. And I loved it. And I was able to do events all over. I got picked up by different staffing agencies that wanted me to be spokesperson. And I was able to get really craftive and creative. And I did like a 25 city speaking tour, all while still working
Wow.
as a nurse. And so
Wow.
it was getting really cool. 2019, I knew I made it. I was like, I made it. I fucking made it. I got booked to do my first international trip to Africa.
Wow.
And my first international trip was to Kenya. I hosted 25 women, and they were all nurses, wanting to relax and retreat. And that was really beautiful. I mean, I swam in the Indian Ocean. Like it was my like I was not the same. Like after
Wow.
that, I was like, I
Ooh.
can't just go back and work like and do this. I want to do this now. And then after that, I ended up booking Bali as for doing a retreat there. And then I did it
Wow.
again, and then again, and then again. And it was like, whoa, this is crazy. So when 2020 came around, 2019, I knew some weird shit was about to go on in healthcare. Like people were like, did you get an intuitive like yeah, I got an intuitive feeling, but also like I knew like there was gonna be something that was gonna like collapse within the system.
Mm.
It wasn't like making sense, you know? So
Right.
anybody who worked in healthcare could say like, "Oh, some shit's about to pop off." And I knew financially, like I didn't want to be in a space where I had to rely to do that for money. Like they had these poor nurses going out there in bandanas. Like they were fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Like it was
Wow.
wild. It was a wild, wild west going into a severely like dangerous environment, not knowing how to take care of them, like
Wow.
not knowing you don't know how to protect me and you're calling me a hero because I'm going into a firing squad with no armor.
Mm.
Like I'm good on that. So I kind of knew some shit was gonna pop off. I made myself really cozy and comfortable in LA. And that was kind of like my I made it time, 2019 and 2020, where I
Mm.
really just had felt like I paid my dues and it was my time to live like my soft girl era as a Black woman. And I
Yes.
travel all over the world. I went to Bali. I had the whole eat, pray, love journey. I came back with a man. We were in love. We were creating. I learned how to play the sound bowls. I was just learning like a lot of different modalities to really heal myself and in my experience with the world around me. And I ended up deciding to move to Costa Rica in 2021. In January, I went there for a visit. And basically, like the overall vision was that I had been hosting retreats for other people as a host for like 3 years at that point. So on average, retreats can gross anywhere between like 13,000 to 50K profit of like
Mm.
what you're taking home. And I
Wow.
was getting like five, as a host.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm the reason these people are coming. I'm gonna figure this out, So I
Right.
decided to actually start my own company and start doing my own thing. And I knew that I didn't want to travel around to host different people. I knew I wanted to be in one space. One of the things that I've been calling in for a long time for myself, because I'm such a nomad, is my space, like my safe space. And initially, I thought that was going to be in Costa Rica. So I hosted a few retreats there. I actually hosted them with my baby daddy's other baby mom. We started a business together. And,
Interesting.
and very, very, and we were very successful. We did what we needed to do. It was a very clear mission between the two of us of what we were working on. We hosted 5 beautiful retreats in Costa Rica.
Awesome.
We made over $200,000. Like we had a really great fucking time doing it. And I got to live my life in the tropics and work twice a year. So that was really
Amazing.
cool. I really love that. Living in the tropics, I ended up deciding to go to like stay there because I wasn't really feeling the food. I wasn't feeling the lockdown. I just felt like I took the pandemic really hard. Like I just thought the way that humanity behaved was really disgusting and like embarrassing and sad.
I
And I
agree.
just like really felt like as a whole, we needed to like process that. And I still don't feel like we've done that. Like not
Whew.
even in art or culture or like anything. Like we need to
Yep.
have like a, a come to Jesus moment around like what actually happened. Talk about
Yes.
our feelings, because there's still a lot of people with a lot of anxiety and like, like issues like
Absolutely.
still stemming from it. So, needless to say, I went to Costa Rica. My baby daddy invited me, who was my friend at the time. He was there with his other baby mom, but they were not a couple. Me and him were
Is
friends
that the
for
one
two
that you
years.
partnered with?
Yes, Gemma. Her
Okay.
name's Gemma, and she has a
Okay.
British accent. You'd love her. Um, and me and her met. We hit it off, and I honestly like wanted to try something different, to be fully transparent with you. I wasn't in like a throuple or anything like that. It just was I really love her like as a person and as a friend. And I really liked how we worked together, and I was excited to be family with her when me
Mm.
and my son's father and I decided to procreate. Like we decided to try to have a child. So me and him were friends for 2.5 years. And then, I got there and we were just like, we hit it off. And I just was telling him my desire to have a baby. And he wanted to have another baby too.
Wow.
So it seemed like the right decision. And I ignored every fucking red flag that I could see.
Woof.
And I take full accountability for that. And now I have a beautiful baby. And about a year and a half into, having a baby and living there, when my son was about a year and 2 months old, 4 months old, I started to travel. When he was 6 months old, I tried to go on tour. I tried to come back to the States and do like a speaking, like do events and festivals and do poetry and speaking with the artist. And like, it's wild because every form of art that I've desired to do, there's someone that has always been like, yeah, like, I've got you, like, we believe you, like,
Yeah.
do it. It's wild. It's nuts. It's like, huh? Like, okay. So, the first trip, Sol and first time back to the States was when he was 6 months old. It was very hard. Like Costa Rica was really easy to live, but it wasn't. Like it had each place had its pros and its cons. So when we first came back, I tried to do a tour. Like I mean, actual proper like lightning in a bottle, like 6,000 people there. It was nuts. Like I don't know what I was thinking.
Wow.
So that was one of those moments where you got your baby and you like, I'ma still live my life, and your baby's like, no.
No, you're not.
Y'all, I had pictures on stage with the baby in the carrier, like shameful, like just shameful, like cringe. But I really thought that I could still show up as me, who I was before. You know what I mean? With the baby,
Right.
it's actually really fucking comical now that I think back to it. But then like so that was enticing because I did like being there. You know what I mean? I did like, oh, and I will like just note that when I moved to Costa Rica, I gave away everything I owned. I gifted my entire house and all of the furniture to a single mom.
Wow.
And I didn't come back to get anything. I knew that I was in a really important, I knew that like whatever I was coming into, I had to let go. And I stayed there from the time that I like left January 1st, and I didn't come back until my son was 6 months old in I think it was in May of 2022. I didn't
Mm.
come back. So that was like a whole thing, but I like my life there was a lot different. And yeah, so that's how it ended up happening. I went through most of my pregnancy alone, like without a partner. When I was about 10 weeks pregnant, I decided I no longer wanted to be in a relationship with my son's father. And he decided he no longer wanted our child.
Oh.
And that was hard. Yeah, it was deep. He didn't want, well, not wanted. Oh, yeah, that's exactly like he didn't want parts or responsibility for our
So
child
like that he
at that
said that.
point.
Like he was like, I don't,
He
that's
said how he shows up is up to him.
oh.
And he does, and so when someone says that to you, you gotta believe them. So at
Yeah.
that point, like I really just let go, but it was really hard because we lived in a small like island area, and I saw him and he would look at me pregnant,
Oh.
like see me and not speak to me. It was terrible. It was really painful. And then later on, he wanted to be a part of the birth and the baby's life,
Mhm.
and that ended up being more painful because he could be quite manipulative, mean, and all of the things. And
Yeah.
um, it was never like any genuine or follow through or consistency. So I stayed in the tropics until February of 2023, when I just started to feel like there was no place for my art. Like
Mm.
I didn't feel like I was writing a lot, and I didn't feel like there was anywhere to perform it that like deserved that. I
Yeah.
felt like I had given up so much of myself and I couldn't find Mo outside of being Soul's mom. And I felt like I had kind of just been strong enough to go somewhere to create a life with someone and to want to build a life with someone and have this one plan and then adapt it into this completely different plan was really cool. And I was really proud of myself for that. But I was ready to be near my family. When the family you're trying to create fails miserably in front of you, um, it's time to adapt. And so I really just needed to be around love and support. And I'm always a person that believes in like honoring the call. And I just had a strong call to like be near my mom and my brother. And I felt like there was something here for me. And there's actually been a lot here for me. So that was really hard because there was a lot of pride involved in that, if you could imagine. Jen, you seem like you
Yeah.
know pride. Um,
Oh,
but
honey.
there was a lot of pride. There was a lot of pride in that, in the sense that, I said that I was going to live here. I said that I was going to raise my baby here, and now I had to do it. You
Right.
know, And it's also like a different energy when you got 100,000 people like looking at what you're doing, and expecting you to do certain things. And then there was this feeling of, if I leave this country with my child, my baby dad's really not going to show up. This invisible feeling of him showing up because he wasn't showing up down the
Right.
street. So I felt like if I took him, then oh my God, the man who's absent is gonna be more absent, and he'll now have a reason to be absent. And so it was just this entire thing that I played over in my head. And I remember looking at Soul and I was like, what do you want to do? And
Oh.
he said, vamos.
Oh.
And so we bounced. We've almost February. We came back. We tried it out, and we lived with my mom for a brief period of time. And I felt like kind of like a kid in the. I felt like I was playing in the Matrix when I first got back. It was really fun because I just had access to everything, and I felt like I had learned how to hold this frequency and this vibration and this trust that everything would be okay. But we came back with no money. Like I think I had $2,000 and I had a baby.
Oh, wow.
We had no clothes, like none, like nothing. Cause like
Mm.
we had beach shit. We were living on an island basically, and no car, no house, and my credit was fucked because I hadn't been living in the country for 2 years. Like I
Wow.
hadn't used a credit card, anything, and I was still thinking in Spanish. So that's kind of like the reality of like what went down. But we're back here, and my intention here is to do a couple things. I really want to plant roots here. I don't want to like ground deeply because I know that I'm supposed to move like Rome
Right.
to an
Yeah.
extent. But this has been really humbling. Like since we got back, I canceled all of my travel, all of my international travel for the year, and for 2024.
Mm.
Um, because leaving the house to go to Target is a pain in the ass with my son. And like it's nuts. And so
It's
like I
not.
don't even want to promote to moms get on the plane with your kid like anymore. Like I don't want to. It's been a shift for me because it's like now that my kid is almost 2 and functioning like he's 2, like I don't want to go anywhere. On the weekends, like we go to the park, that's it. And that's great. So like we've
Mm-hmm.
been really just enjoying simplicity of like home, comfort, family, cousins, cookouts, etc. So it's been cool. I've always been a fashion girl, and that wasn't something that I was able to do there. And I didn't realize how much that impacted my mental health being there,
Mm,
of like not being able to get fly and like get dressed and like switch up my
right.
hair because it didn't make sense. So that was like a positive, but like that 1.5 year maternity leave that I had is unmatched. Like,
Yeah.
do you know how many women would love to have that? Like,
Oh my goodness.
seriously, like, yeah, yeah, it was
Yes.
beautiful. I
How
really got
has
to
it
bond with my baby.
I love that for you that you were even able to experience that he was able to experience that because all that they receive all that energy as their, like his source of foundation. How has it been? Me and Denisha always talk about healing the inner child and all the things that our children teach us about our own personal triggers and traumas. Has there been anything with just transitioning back home, being around your mom now as a mom? Maybe things that you were experiencing, let's say postpartum wise, that like do you feel like you were able to now have someone to speak about these things and have that, help one on one, like right there next to you when you need that?
No.
What?
I don't have that. Like, do you mean by like my family and friends?
Yeah, like, I feel like
No.
postpartum was hard here because I feel like I'm alone. Like, if I would have been back
Yeah.
home,
Oh,
maybe
you
it would
meant,
have been,
oh, like near your family?
yeah, like just to have those people, or I'm not sure, how your relationship with your mother is. I don't
My
have that.
relationship with, yeah, so okay, so I get what you're saying. So my relationship with my mom is fire. I'm grateful for it. We're in therapy together because it's like since I've been back, it's been
That's
so deep.
beautiful.
Like because yeah,
Oh,
so we like really we went to therapy together because we're kind of like we're raising my son together.
oh,
And I had a lot of resentment around that because that's like not what I wanted to do.
mm,
And I can't get mad at her for showing up in a way that I need her to. You know what I mean? So she's
right.
at all the like we're going to look at schools right now because he needs to go somewhere that like has more emotion based curriculum and play and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom is like looking up the schools and that kind of stuff. So I'll say in the aspect of like showing up, it's been phenomenal because I know that my family's not going to leave me high and dry. And one of the things about Costa Rica that I had to do was any support I had with my son, I had to pay for the end, period. It
Right.
was like any real support, like it would like I'll come over and watch him cute, like night, but I'm talking like I need you to watch him while I do this. Like that was paid support. So that is amazing. I feel though like I'm a little too soft for my family. And like you know how some people say life hardened you? Life has softened me a
Mm.
lot. Like everything that I go through makes me softer and like more open, be and more understanding. And I think that my openness sometimes and like my rawness around how I feel can like cut like can trigger someone in my family or my friends who hold me to a certain standard because they don't want me to go through things like that or even hear me talk about things like that. Because I've said
Right.
the words like I don't like being a mom. Like some
Right.
days I really don't. A lot of days I
Listen,
really
it's
don't.
it's a lot. And that's the thing, like
Yeah.
people don't understand like when you need a break, like people take that like listen, you need a break from them. It is a 24/7 like constant, like it is a whole human you have to be responsible for. And even with
It
a
is.
husband, it's a lot. Even with a husband, it's like, bro, I,
But
I
I
gotta
think
go.
about it. I think about it with a husband, right? And with a husband, you got to think about somebody else's feelings too.
You
Like it's
do.
not just like I'm not doing this and this is that. You know what I
You
mean? Like it's not we're a gluten free household now. The end. You know what I mean? It's like No, but I like muffins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, well, babe, can you still make me muffins? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. Yeah, it's. So I think about the pros and cons to the double
Yeah, there
parent
is
household, but
because sorry, it's like you also, you get, I always call it, I get tapped out, and that's because I'm overstimulated with these three
same.
children. And then not only that, I also have a husband I have to also be mindful that wants my attention as well. And sometimes I'm
Mm,
burnt out just from the three, that at the end of the night I'm like, bruh, I ain't got I'm on empty. Like, I don't have anything left in me. But I also have to understand I have to still nurture that relationship. I built this family with this person. And it's
mm-hmm.
like
You know,
finding that like just new wave that we both have had to get accustomed to, because we didn't have kids. We were together for almost 10 years before we had children. So we were so
Mm,
used to, he was so used to all of me. And
yeah.
now it's like my time is split between everybody. Everybody wants me. Everybody wants to touch me. Everybody wants me to do something for them. So I think it's
do you ever just like hide and like
what?
have your
Honey, I
space?
walk out. I'll walk out and I'll get a text like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I left. I'll be back.
Not I love. I'll be.
I had to go get some fresh air." Like now
I love that for
I
you.
told Denisha I started doing now, and he didn't understand how to, I don't think he understood how to process it, but I think he's getting it now. But I'm like, I'm gonna go out to treat myself to dinner. And he's like, by yourself? Yes. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna go out to dinner
Yes.
by myself right now because I want to eat in peace. I don't want nobody asking me to wipe their ass. I don't want to feed nobody. And I don't want to share my food. I don't want to be
I
around
really don't want
nobody.
to share my food at all.
I want to sit there by myself, put my fucking Netflix on my phone in the restaurant, and just eat my food. That's what I'm gonna
That's
do right
self-care. I love doing that
now.
so much. I I you'll find me dining at like a five-star restaurant at 11 a.m. because my son is at school and I know that I can go eat, you know what I mean, and peace. And I'm not taking him in there. God forbid, he would embarrass me. You know, when he was a baby, it was incredible. But now that he's a toddler, it's like we limited in where we can go. Like we get
That's
real.
expensive, girl. Now, if it's all five of us, I just be thinking about the bill. I'm like, I'm just gonna go eat. I'll make y'all something in the house.
There,
I'm gonna go
there's this
out.
there's this Instagram post, this girl, she be eating in her car without her kids and then throwing it away before she go in the house.
My husband was like, "That's what y'all be doing." I'm like, "Absolutely." So when you
You know
see, I
what's
just
I'm about to start doing it.
that's
so
exactly what I do, and I just yes, I throw out the evidence every time.
yeah, girl, because they be
That's
fine.
hilarious.
They call you out too. She'd be like, why are those cookies in the garbage? Who ate all the cookies?
Not calling you out. I'm glad my son can't talk like that yet. Oh my goodness.
Calling me out. But Monique, I think it's so special in this way that we can express like both spectrums. And I think that people get caught off guard with that. Like when you can be honest and say, like, yo, I'm over this. I don't even want to do this. Like, is there a go back button? And you might say it, and some people really taken back, like, yo, you don't like your family, or you don't love your family. And it's like, no, but I gotta be gone in order to miss something. If I'm with my children 24/7, how can I miss them?
Yeah,
I can't miss them. Like,
Listen,
they need to be gone for at least an
I
hour.
agree. An hour, 8, 7. I'm
Yeah,
just
like, can I get
playing. No,
the
but
weekend?
yeah, no, I get it. But I think that if you like, I think people are so afraid of like integrating with their shadows, if that makes sense.
Yes.
yes,
Like that you can be a positive, radiant ball of fucking sunshine, but you can also be like, this shit fucking sucks and it's hard. And I don't want it every day though. Like that's what this
Yeah.
my
listen.
line is like every day.
It's like, and then as they get older, and they're coming into themselves, and we had an episode on gentle parenting, and you're trying to, gentle parent, not let them walk over you,
Oh
but you're
God.
just trying to let them be themselves. And sometimes being themselves, like I was just telling Denisha before we hopped on, I'm like, my son is a very, all kids question everything, but my son is very like, when he feels like he knows something, which he thinks he knows everything, he will be adamant about it. So it was something so simple, but I was just so tapped out from the day, and certain days I can't do it with him. Like I don't have it. So yesterday was one of those days, and his sister has spilled the water, but I didn't want her to clean it because a 3-year-old cleaning water with tissue is going to turn into a much more bigger disaster. So I said, can you help me, Tristan? And please clean the water. Because I'm pregnant now too. So bending down and doing all that is a lot for me. So I'm like, please help me. So he grabs like a piece of the tissue. I mean, the tissue to not tissue, but paper towel to wipe it. But there's a lot of water. So the first round that he does, like it drenches all the water. So I said, okay, just take that and just get a bigger piece. He said, no, I can clean it all with this. Bruh.
No, you can't.
I'm like, no, you can't. Get the other tissue. No, I can do it with this. Yo, I scared everybody because I was like, and he was like, oh, okay. And then he just got the other tissue and did it. And I felt bad because it's like everybody jumped because I was like, like, okay. It was like, sorry,
These
but
kids.
like, bruh, no, you fucking can't. Like, clean that. Like, just do it. Because then he wants to grab my towels. No, you're not dirtying the towels. Like, just do what I'm telling you to do right now. Just right now. I don't want to question. I don't want you to think you know it all. I don't have it right now. And I'm gonna lose it with you. But
Listen,
one thing that I make sure I do is that, listen, I always say I am not perfect. I be trying, but I be spazzing sometimes. But I'm very big on repair.
you did talk about that before, like how you discuss how you're human with your kids, and I love that.
Yeah, I just
I
be like,
think
look, my bad. I've had a long day.
treating
I've
your
been
kids
working all
with
day.
dignity is important. Treating your kids with dignity is important. And I think so often like parents just don't think that like that, that they catch on to these moments because they physically get over it so quickly. You know what I mean? They're so
Yeah.
resilient and they get over stuff so quickly. But I'm not gonna lie, I be fucking up bad.
Yeah.
And I'm working on it. I'm really hard on myself though as a mom in general. And I'm working on that. That's the main thing because I realize that that's just as hard. Like that is also negative for them
Yes.
because it doesn't allow them to really have their own experience when any issue they have is about you. So it's
Exactly.
really
Yeah.
important to like separate them. Soul is going through some stuff right now. His school said he has a behavioral issue, and I'm like, he's 1.5,
Yeah. What behavior
like
issue?
like
Literally
almost
learning.
2.
But you see,
I'm like, what do you mean?
that's that system though too. Like somebody had asked us, like, are we gonna stay homeschooling them? And my husband told, I forgot who it was, but he was like, I feel like where my children are at now in how they've been educated, because it's not like the school system of one size fits all. And if your child doesn't do this or fit into this, then they're either slow, need special ed. This one has ADHD.
Yep.
And it's like, no, they don't. They're just children being children. And
Yeah.
he was like, yo, I feel
It's
like they're gonna dumb my kid down.
They
they
will.
are. They
Mhm.
will. If I had the resources to homeschool, I would. And when I get the resources to like homeschool or group school, I will. I really never wanted to put my son in school. And there was a lot of things I didn't want to do. Like I definitely didn't want to vaccinate my son. He's still not. Some people will probably freak out hearing that, but he's not. I want to wait.
Not
Listen,
our
none
people.
of
Like I
mine
didn't.
are.
Yeah, I didn't vaccinate my son. I'm not with it. Like, just get somebody else to do it. Like, let me get that exemption. Like
Yeah,
that. And if you have a problem with this, sorry, your kid. Then that means your kids are vaxxed and they're safe from my kids. So don't worry.
exactly.
We're gonna keep
How
up.
was
We're
it?
gonna keep up with the black seed oil, the ginger
Yep.
root, and the sea moss daily. Like, and that's working wonders. But yeah, that happened recently where my son was going on a daycare here, and they're not very innovative with the different tools, like to for different children. My son likes to build things. Like that's what he likes. He likes Legos. He likes to build blocks. So I've sent him with things that he can build, but he likes to build things. Anything. If you give him a bunch of toilet paper rolls, he's gonna build a stack of them, and it's gonna look like
Yeah.
it's like so. He really enjoys building things, and if he gets bored, he gets destructive when he gets too bored. And
Yeah.
bored meaning he's not really turned on by TV. He like outside. He like to play, and he
Yes.
likes tasks that require focus.
Está
So
comiendo, baby.
I walk in and pick him up, and he's sitting in a high chair at 5 p.m.
Ah,
And I'm like, what's going on? Like, is he in trouble? And they're like, well, he's been moving it around all day. And I was like, well, how long has he been in it? Like, because that means that, that he probably wanted to move around. So
Yeah.
we talked briefly, and she was like, there was another behavior therapist, and um, she's like, she saw his behavior and thought like, he could probably be seen too.
Oh,
And I was like, well, I would rather not have him evaluated in a way that's like a group setting. Like, I would rather
right.
have him evaluated in a way by like his primary care doctor, then refers me to a behavior specialist that's specifically here to see him, because that's like how that will work. But I
Mm-hmm.
was like, like, let me know what he's doing. And so when they told me the things that he was doing, it all like made sense. So like I started like on the heavy list of shit I gotta do now when he gets out of school, every day we go run a field together,
Oh, that's beautiful.
because he's obviously not like exerting that kind of energy. So I'm like, but my followers are always like, "What was your snapback?" And I'm like, "Bitch, it's like I don't get to sit down. Like I had cookie dough for dinner. I had cookie dough for dinner. Like what are you talking about? I had a spoon full of cookie dough, and I'm drinking a tea, and I'll probably have a smoothie at 4 a.m. because I'll be starving. But it's like I can't really get much done with my son around. He's very active and very busy. He grew up on an acre, like he started his first year of life was on an acre of land, and
Yes.
when he woke up in the morning, he opened the door himself and played
Oh,
outside, and that was safe for him. Like I would see him from my bedroom and lay in bed and watch him at 6 o'clock in the morning playing in the garden. And if some shit
wow.
seemed weird, I would get up, whatever. And he was around significantly different races, and I thought like these people, wow, how they gentle parents, and I was judging. And I just realized like parenting will humble you, you know what I mean? And now somebody's like that to my kids. So it was kind of like a really funny moment where I just was like, I appreciate that, I'll not funny. I believe any feedback anybody gives you, especially around your child, should be noted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to label him or internalize anything or have him evaluated before he's 2 years old.
I
Like what?
know. They're
Like
supposed
that's
to.
you don't have to consent to any type of evaluation, by the way. He's also not even in compository school, so you literally don't have to evaluate him if you don't want to, by the way.
I don't I'm so the plan is actually to change schools. And
Mm,
that was the plan anyway, because when I was coming, there was too much sitting. And I think kids should be running, you know what I mean? Because
yes.
when he would come home to me, I'm like, you in school for 8 hours. How are you not tired? I'm at work for 8 hours. I'm tired. What's going on here? So like, I feel like he needs to be in more of an active environment. I'm big on places serving their purpose. When we first got here, like we went through a family friend who basically like raised me, taught me sign language, all that stuff.
Wow.
And it was a really good fit for us at the time, but now it's time for something different. And it also just reminds you that really education is in your home. Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another thing is we also have to remember, which the school system doesn't take into account, is that every child learns different. All
Yeah.
my three children are three different students. My son would probably be the child in class that would be kissing ass, sitting in the front, but he would also probably be labeled disrespectful because he is very vocal. about a lot of things.
Mm.
And pays attention to detail that he will call you out on your shit. Like, you don't know how many times I hear him in his class and he will tell teacher like, nope, that's not it actually. So and so, blah blah blah, and break it down. And teacher be like, oh wow, Tristan, you're actually right. While in a other setting of school, it would be like, stop, don't talk back, don't, you know. So then it's like Kaylani, my middle one. My middle one is just not with it. She doesn't care for it. She wants to put on her dress and design her
I
clothes
love her.
and
Yes,
do all
that's my
that.
friend.
And I mean,
Send her over here.
I will send you a picture of like, cause the girls are in the same pre-K, kindergarten, virtual learning, and they're two different students. Like, I'm gonna send you the picture of Celeste. She is sitting there focused. She loves to, just be engaged. Kehlani be in her own world, like her own world, and you'll
And
see through
that
the
is
pictures.
from one, like what I'm saying is that that's from one family, like just
Yeah,
one family.
just one.
Exactly.
And in school, oh my God, they would have been like, this child is slow. like they would have
Mhm.
labeled her all the way. And it's like, the thing with her though, she knows her shit, but she don't care to tell you about her academics. So it's like, okay, so I know my ABCs, and what? I don't have to prove it to you, but
I
check
love
out
that for
this
her.
dress that I'm about to wear. Like,
But I also think as parents, like, why not nurture that? You know what I
yes,
mean? Like,
Exactly.
why
I
not
let her
nurture
But
that?
be.
Like, why?
the thing too is that even like the biggest problem is that intelligent children fall under the category even more than children that are quote unquote
Yep.
problematic.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because it's a very small square or box that they could put your children in. They only get, like, for example, enough funding for that. So it's like the second your child is too smart or thinks out of the box or is too creative or is too social or all things that are great things to have in life, it's like they shut it down because they don't even have enough funding to cover that. So if one child is creative and the other one is outspoken, and then another one is like, you can tell he's going to be like an entrepreneur, he's a boss man, like you could tell all these things, that's three different teachers that you need to find for these children. So it's like once these children step out of the box that the school system makes for them, you're a problem. Whether it's
yeah,
an
Yep.
immensely good problem or it's an immensely bad problem, it doesn't matter. You're a problem, period.
It doesn't. Your problem.
you have
Yeah,
And
to
I
because
like,
parent each of
and
them
once you,
different, teach them
exactly.
different.
and what I feel like is, I feel like anybody, I don't know. I just feel like once we become a problem, we gotta go. You get what
Yeah,
I mean? Because if you're telling me that there's a problem, then there's a problem.
right.
Like, you get what I mean? For
Yep,
y'all, but not for me. Like, there's a
right.
that doesn't mean that there's a problem for me. It means that y'all can't handle it. You get what I mean? It means
Yeah,
he needs a different environment.
you're
And I
not built
always
for
want to
that.
be somewhere like, I think that, like, the alternative that I would have liked to hear was like, Soul's not really responding to this curriculum. I think he needs to be somewhere that's outdoor, that has more outdoor. They're not gonna
Yes,
say that. You know what I mean?
then definitely
Uh,
not.
Yeah, because it
Mm-mm.
so,
also
but yeah,
turns
I
accountability.
yeah, it does. And I honestly, one of the things that I wanted to say, since I know you're big into care and like avocation, both of y'all. When I first got here, I was really interested in navigating the healthcare system because I was on welfare.
I was gonna ask.
Mm,
And I was on welfare, I was on WIC, I was on food stamps, all of it. Like, why not? I paid for it
right.
for years. So and I was so happy to get that because when I lived in Costa Rica, I got none of that.
Crazy.
So so whatever happened, I noticed how they treated me when I would go to the, like, I was able to, one, navigate through really, really, like, find the best doctors because they actually take Medicare, Medicaid, low income
Hmm.
Yeah.
insurance that, like, normally better. So I remember I was seeing Soul's primary care provider, and I had his religious exemption form for his vaccine, his philosophical exemption for his vaccines that was going to be good until he is 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, why don't you want to vaccinate him?" And I was like, "Well, you know, he's a young Black boy who's not speaking yet." And she was like, "Okay, you're concerned about autism." And I was like, "Yeah, I also have a family member who is autistic, a 13-year-old family member. My nephew is
Mm-hmm.
autistic." And also, like, no, like, I don't want it. And
Right.
there were, and so I was like, we can reevaluate for his 24-month visit because that's when he'll meet all his developmental markers. And she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure," and signed off immediately. I have a friend who lives in the same county, and she went to the same healthcare facility, like under
Mm-hmm.
the same umbrella, not the same doctor, but same one. They tell her she has to vaccinate her child in order
Oh,
for
wow.
her to get her benefits.
Yeah.
And that was never said to me. Like,
Oh,
so I think they also tell her, like, if she doesn't do that, like, she may be considered negligent, her benefits may be taken away, et cetera, et cetera. I was
wow.
not threatened with any of that because I went in knowledgeable. Like, I have this paper that I got online, very simple Google search, and I'm not shit until I feel ready to do it for my child in which I put in his body. And y'all still gonna run me these benefits because this is my baby's body. You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's crazy because they really do benefit off of you trust, like, you completely trusting whatever they say is gold. And that's so sad because so many uneducated people in the medical, like, that are navigating through the medical system. Like, keep in mind, I am having this debate with a doctor after 10 years of medical experience, right?
That's what I was
Exactly.
gonna ask. Oh my God, that has to be crazy.
Imagine having this debate on, and you're the average person on welfare on a
Right.
sixth grade reading level, or not, or English as your second language. So, like, it's absolutely insane. And then, I remember when we got WIC, I ended up giving, like, getting rid of it because we couldn't buy coconut water. My son doesn't drink juice.
What?
We couldn't
Yeah,
buy
that's crazy.
grains or quinoa. We had to buy white rice. We
Really?
couldn't
I didn't
buy.
know that.
Yeah, Jen.
We
I
had to buy
didn't know.
ocean spray apple juice or something that was shelf life, nothing fresh, nothing in the cool aisle. We could buy a small amount of organic fruit, like a small amount, but they would be picky about what it was. And
Get
so it just got out of
out.
control that I didn't, as a college educated, multi-business owning entrepreneur, I couldn't figure out how to use my WIC appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I'm
had
like,
no idea that they
Yeah,
like have
Jen.
those type of restrictions
And
to
it's
that
like
degree.
whole milk. Like, and I get it. Okay, I'll okay, I get the whole milk. Like I would prefer whole milk, but it's like that's not everyone's preference. So if you're, for example, they were giving at the beginning, I had WIC for like a short amount of time with Endo too. And I liked it because they would give you coupons, like she said, for fruits and vegetables. So I would go to the farmers market because that's what I used to do with
mm-hmm,
food stamps.
Mm.
Was my supermarkets never had organic anything. So I would go down to Union Square in New York City and I'll go use my food stamps. And they actually gave you like an extra $50 or something like that if you
Oh,
shop
wow.
there. So I would do that. And then I started trying to do the WIC. And when I would go to the store, I would be like, oh, can I get another kind of juice or another kind of bread? And it was no, it was the brands that they approved and the
Wow.
kinds that they approved. That same thing goes. I would never say, because a lot of people would be like, oh, why don't you say that you're giving him formula so they can give you formula? I'm like, I'm not giving him formula. I'm breastfeeding him. Why would I say that? But they also give you the formula that they give you for free. And you can't really
Mm.
change any of their options. So it's like
mm-hmm.
Wow.
it puts into your mind, like, what are they trying to do if they're trying to force this type of, like, if
I
you told
don't
me, okay, I can't buy junk food, I get it. But you're telling me that I cannot get an alternative to this cheese because I want it grass fed, I can't get it, then what who are you
No,
helping?
you can't get organic anything, like
What?
nothing. Unless
Nothing.
like, no organic milk, grains, none of that. And so for
Stop.
me, yeah. And so I gave my son had cow's milk when he lived in Costa Rica, and he didn't have any allergies or issues to it. And it was honestly just like the cheapest and best option after breastfeeding for him
Hmm.
there. And it was like clean, like wonderful. Like I enjoyed drinking it too.
I'm sure the
So I get
cows are very different over there.
well,
Cows over here.
when we got here, it was like, nah, he can't drink this. You know what I mean? It was very, very obvious that he couldn't drink it. And I honestly, all of the products that they said that we could have on WIC, I don't fuck with them. I don't eat them because I'm just like,
Right.
why? Y'all never wanted to do shit good for me. So I'm just like, yeah, you know, like y'all never were like, okay, we got these herbs for you that are gonna heal your body. No,
Yeah.
That's
no,
insane. I love
yeah,
though that you've been able to just have all, because life is about experiences. That's the way I see it, as I, gain more wisdom, in all of my experiences. Um, I realize like not everybody can adapt to all the experiences that come your way because they're gonna
yes,
be at different levels, like I don't like to say good or bad because I don't feel that exists. I don't know if to say high or low, you know what I mean? They're just experiences, but they're different in their nature, they're different in their lessons. And I love, when I see mothers able to adapt to these different types of experiences. And that's not to say that we don't have our moments, that we don't get in our head and we don't beat ourselves up and get caught up in the, like, I don't know if I could say ego, but just the societal pressures, that keep us in that space. Or just wanting more for yourself, and seeing this certain type of vision. And afterwards you're like, oh, but I'm not there yet. Or now I
I
need
know
to,
that life.
yeah, like now I need to reel it back a little bit so I can go farther up, and those moments are sometimes just difficult transitions to process. But I feel like you've done a great job at just always like bringing yourself back to center and saying, all right, look,
Thank you,
like,
thank you.
and that's because you acknowledge, and that, how you said, like, some people can't understand the softness of how you've received life. And I love that you said that, because I feel like I'm learning that now, like not to let everything make me so hard. Like, it's beautiful to allow life to make you as soft as it has. Why? Because it shows that you've taken every knowledge of everything that you've put out there in your teachings, in your speaking, in everything you've done. You've applied the wisdom, because that's what that is. You've
Thank
applied
you.
the
I need
wisdom, and
damn,
boom,
I
you're like,
needed that. Damn, I'm getting teary eyed up over here. That's crazy. Wow, I needed that.
and that's beautiful to see, because like I've had the darkest moments, and it's watching women like you, Denisha, and all these other people that we've had. Like, all of our guests are very high vibrational people, and the
I would
reason they're
expect
high vibe
nothing but.
yeah, like they're high vibrational because they're honest with themselves. Like, there are days my husband would be like, my husband now always is just checks in like, are you okay? Are you good? And there's some days I'm like, I'm not. I'm not. Like, I'm okay, but I'm not today. Like, today's just not that day. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but I'm gonna need more moments of silence. I'm gonna need more moments of discipline, of taking time for myself, because I know that if I don't do that, I'm going to go into that dark hole. So it's like, talking about things and being honest with things is something that I always say that I had to start doing again, because I shut everybody out when I go through stuff sometimes in my hardest, like, darkest moments. I just close the world, and then I stay in this bubble, and that is what was leading me into the worst depressions, the worst anxiety, the
Mm,
worst panic attacks. And I'm like, nah, when I'm going through and my girls check on me, and if it's a good day, I'm gonna let you know. If it ain't, it ain't. I'm like, bitch, it ain't today. Today ain't my day. I ain't got the fucking patience. I'm feeling angry, you know what I mean? I'm disappointed in this, that. And then, just their words of encouragement, their words of like, listen, it's okay. You're doing a lot, but you're doing it. If you need anything, let us know. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Just all those things like that. You need to receive it. You need to hear it. You need to continue to speak life into yourself. And I feel like you always do that. And I love, 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 love that about you. And just like I said, like today was that reminder of like, you know what? Yesterday, like I said, I spazzed on my son. And today it was just like, I just had that moment, you know, and it's thanks to you. And it's like, you don't know how many people you're reaching, you know, by just being yourself. And that's the beautiful part. But it reached me, and I'm sure it reached a bunch of other women, because I don't do that a lot. And I'm like, I got to do that more. Like, I got to sit here and be like, you know what? You're great. You're beautiful. You're safe. That's one of my main things. You're safe and you are okay. And it's reminding myself that.
Mm,
Thank you so
thank you
much,
for
Monique,
that.
for your honest. It's very much appreciated. You know, something we
Thank
were
you.
talking about before is that, like for children, we can be gods. Like we are their first, what their
Yeah.
picture of a god would be is us, right? And I feel like it's important to kind of knock ourselves off the pedestal early,
Mm-hmm.
because we sometimes put this perception of like, yo, we got it, I'm doing it, I'm resilient, nothing can stop me. But it's like, wait, hold on, there are moments that are going to stop me. There are times that I have to sit with myself in silence and figure out what's going on. There are moments where I need to cry. There are moments where I
Yes.
need to let it out and complain. There are moments where I'm just not having the greatest day. And I feel like you having that rawness is a reminder, um to be honest with ourselves as well. It's like you can never fix a problem if you can't pinpoint the problem. So that whole talk that you did for yourself, that you're like, hold on, I can figure this out, I can do this, I can do that. it it's so inspirational because I feel like
Thank you.
sometimes I'm here with my family, I have a whole husband, and I haven't gone through half of what you went through, and you're already so resilient. So it's so inspirational to hear, like, we're not okay all the time, but those are the moments where we pick ourselves back up and kind of just keep it going. Like there is a flow there, and we have to learn the ebbs and flows, and not just think that we can only go straight in one direction and never stop. So I
Oh
want
no,
to
for
thank you.
sure. Thank you. Thank y'all both for your beautiful, like kind to just amazing words. I don't always feel like that. I go into dark places, very dark places as well. And I'm not really a solitude person like that. That's how I know I am a solitude person like that, like that, like that. I love being alone, and I know I'm going through something when I can't be. I
Mm-hmm.
lean on everyone around me. I start bouncing ideas off of different things. And, we all kind of know what we have to do in order to feel like our best selves. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
Jim, I know when you go through those depressions that you spoke of, you're not doing the things that you need to do. You get what I
No.
mean? Because
No.
you
Yep.
can't. And like everybody will talk to you. So I have this tea I drink for mania, which I have mania that I love. I'm not even gonna lie. I love my mania. It's great. I get done so much shit. But I never wanted to take like any type of mood stabilizer, but I struggle with depression and with mania. And struggle with depression, enjoy my mania way too much. And I take this tea, and my mom knows about it. I've been taking it for a year. It's by a black woman herbalist based in
Mm.
LA, and she makes the shit on the full moon. I'll send you on her website.
Oh, wow.
She's incredible. She makes teas for babies. I mean everything. And I love doing everything from the inside out. But I'll go like for 6 weeks. I was off my teas, like literally.
Mm.
Like I was like, I don't want to. I'm drinking coffee. I'm drinking a Celsius, bitch. Why are you drinking a Celsius? Like I'm doing all kind of stuff, just being rebellious. Because I think sometimes
Yes.
we show up as our kids self, like, yeah, I know that this gonna make me feel better, but I want to be sad and I want to fucking hate the world. You know what I mean? And so what I do in in those moments is I just allow myself. And then when I start, like honestly, yesterday was day one of me feeling better again. Like I've been in a kind of like a 5 week, just like, I'm not where I want to be. My house is shit. I'm ready for a bigger house. My son needs this. I can't believe I'm doing this alone. I'm going to sue my baby daddy for child support. Like, I was just a whole negative rant of all of it. Like, I'm fucking taking all this money. I've never asked him for a dime, and now I'm going after it. I'm going to find his ass and go. Like, it was nuts. Like, it was just this fucking, like, because I was choosing to, like, your reality becomes what you choose to focus on. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yes.
like, and so then, like, I just literally I finally sat my ass down and was like, bitch, like, this is just gonna keep getting harder. Clean your room. Like, take a shower. Like, take a shower. You know what I mean? Like, I literally go through that. You know what I mean? And I'm so grateful for my son because the thoughts get darker, but the actions, like the movement, I catch myself so much quicker now because it's like he'll literally be smacking me in the face with a bottle or with a juice cup. Like, what we doing here? Like, we have a routine, mom. Like, we go see the sun when the sun comes up. Why are we not at the sun?
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah. But I think we're all doing an amazing job and we just have to give ourselves credit for that. And when we have those dark spirals, like, gently love ourselves back to the habits and the practices that make us feel good. It's like, it's kind of wild because when you asked me if I had support and it felt different, my mom, one of the ways that I learned to love was like by like not but like forcefully like, get over it, you know what I mean, like that kind of energy. And she's like,
Yeah.
you need to take your keys, you need to do that. And I'm like, you're so intense, like, you're so intense right now. I just need you to, like, go. Like, I need you to just, like, leave me alone. Like, I know I need to do all that shit. We know that makes me feel better, but I don't even want to bathe. So
Yo,
what am I gonna do?
That's a tough one.
I'm the
Like
same
that.
way. I was trying to explain that to my husband. I was like, those days that I just sit there and I don't even get in the shower. He's like, I mean, but people do that. I said, no,
No.
no,
It's
it
different.
means I am depressed. F
If I don't shower,
Y
I'm depressed.
I.
Yeah. If I don't
Like,
shower, I'm depressed, please. We shower every day
If
in this.
I We shower every day in this house, and we're the kind of family that as soon as we get in the house, because I wear scrubs to work, I do home care. So I'm going into people's houses, and I like what I do a lot. I'm not gonna say I love it because I don't love nobody's job. But I like what I I like what I do a lot. But when we come home, we take our clothes, like, kind of
everything
before
else.
the stairway, everything, and we just take a shower. Me and I'll get in. He normally is fine because he's just been at school. I don't really feel like ick for my job because I don't really do any, like, dealing with bodily fluids or anything like that. It's just energetically I don't like to bring it in. And but if I'm not feeling good, like if I'm depressed, like my first week of work, I felt like I was just surviving. Like, it was so crazy. Like, I'm such an
Mm.
organized, packed the lunch, everything in glass Tupperware, got the Stanley cup full. Like, he got the snacks, we good. You know what I mean? We got the allergen friendly stuff. And then, like, that week I just was like, okay, I have an 8 hour day. I have no food. We out. Like, all right, we just gonna do what we need to do. My only goal for that week was to get us out of the house. He ate breakfast at school. Who knows what they fed him? God forbid. Like, I didn't even ask, you know what I mean? But
Right.
Like he
we
got
gotta
fed
give
though.
us. But sometimes, just as a mom, as a human, we're showing up 100%. Sometimes we showing up at 90. Sometimes
Yep.
we showing up at 20. And last week,
Exactly.
like, my focus was being a provider, so I had to put the mom was stanking it up. Like, it was like, I'm doing my best. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, but I
Yep.
like to give myself that grace around, like, because both are good, because these kids don't know.
No.
No. They really
Listen, some
don't.
days they get the 5 course fruits with the waffles and the yogurt, and some days I'll be like, listen, there's a bagel, put some butter on that, eat it, and I got shit to do.
And get out my face.
Don't
Yeah, and they love that.
nobody interrupt me. Like, nobody.
Watch, when they're 18, they're gonna be like, "Mom used to give us these bagels that had butter. Oh my God, Mom, where did you get them bagels from?" They're not
There
gonna
was a
remember
whole
them fruits and shit like that. My son gonna be like, my mom used to make me peanut butter and jelly on Hawaiian rolls, yo. He's not gonna remember the chickpea hummus I made him. They
No,
don't care.
they
They don't care.
don't. But it's so funny. My
No.
youngest one, she will come down and she's like, "Where's my fruits?" I'm like, you want to give me a second?" Like,
Wait, is she this the fashion girl, right?
no, that's the younger one. The younger one is like your my husband made an analogy the other day, like, you know, the Saw movie, like the whole time it was the guy that was sleeping and nobody knew it was him. Like, that's her.
Uh-huh.
She's low key, but she paying attention to everybody.
Oh,
Like,
we like her.
oh, we were cracking up the other day because my husband had gave my son the responsibility of feeding the turtle. I think I mentioned it before, and he just men, they're just not gonna do it. And every time my husband be like, "Did you feed the turtle?" My son would be like, "Yeah," and I'd be like, "He didn't feed no turtle. He lying. Like, he didn't feed the turtle. He lying." So my husband was like, "I'm giving you this responsibility, but if you're not gonna do it," he's like, "I'm gonna take it away," right? So the next day comes and it's all quiet. My husband is watching TV. I'm working in the office. My son is in class. Celeste, the youngest one, this one, she's about to get in class. She looks at my husband. She goes, ain't nobody fed the turtle yet." And we just started dying, cracking up
Not ain't
laughing.
nobody fed a turtle yet,
He said, "Ain't nobody
girl.
fed the turtle yet, Dada." And I was like, yo, it's her. She be paying attention to everything. And the thing is that she's still small, so people think she's like really young. I mean, she is. She's 3, but she's not your average 3-year-old. Like, you would think that she's not paying attention, that she don't know, but she will come right back at you. She's the one that comes up to me and she'd be like, "You hurt my feelings." I said, "How did I hurt your feelings?" And she'd be like, "When you yelled at me, you almost made me cry,
She
and
don't.
that hurt my feelings." And I'm like, "Well, I apologize. I was upset at something and I probably, just reacted a little loud." And she's like, "Yeah, don't do that again because that hurt me." Cool. Cool. Like, she's
emotionally intelligent, able to
oh
speak up for herself.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Kind of future kids we need in this world.
Yes. But they're, like I said, they're all very different. They're all
A
funny
lot
though.
for us. It's a
They're
lot for
all
us, but
comedians.
they'll be
I
great for the world.
I always say, because I was on edibles the whole entire pregnancy with her because 2 toddlers and being pregnant with a 9-month-old.
Girl, you
And
ain't gotta explain to me. I
honey,
had
I was on them edibles heavy, and I would say, yo, she's been my chillest girl. Like, and I'm like, I think she's just been high the whole fucking time. Like,
my son was like,
oh, we lost
No way.
her.
Oh my, well,
We'll get her back. And then, yeah, we're gonna have to wrap up soon though. But it was hilarious because I would say, like, yo, I think them edibles are just ingrained in her.
it would make sense.
Do you ever
That's
think
funny.
like who of your children will smoke weed?
I've never thought of that before.
Me and Greg talked about it. And I'm like, I don't think Tristan will. I think he will be the one to be like, no. But Kehlani and Celeste, bro, they get high.
Yeah, you think so? That's so funny. I don't know because their personalities are so crazy. Like Enzo's literally an old man. Like he doesn't let the girls wear like revealing stuff. He'll be like that
Wow.
like a crop top. He'll be like that doesn't fit you. Like
Oh,
that doesn't fit you. Why are you wearing that? Or like for example, my sister dyed her hair and he was like, "Do you not love yourself? Like why are you doing
ooh.
this to yourself?" And I'm just like, where does he get all of this? Because I'm very much like, yo, I'm free to do what I want, and I let other people be free to do what they want. So I don't know, like, but he's very like a old soul, and these girls are just like hyper outgoing, uh,
Interesting.
have no chill, street smart, uh, like un tigueraje is crazy.
So Monique, we were asking, like, looking at your children, like I know now at the age that they're at, I say I don't think my son Tristan will probably smoke weed. He doesn't. I just don't see it.
how old
I
is
don't know.
he?
I could be wrong, but the girls, bruh, I see it. I know Kaylani getting high. I know.
As I hit my weed now. I have no idea for my son. He's way too young. He's
Yeah.
way too young to even think about that. But my son was stoned when he was born because like I had a C-section. So he was
Mm,
already on meds, which I
right.
did not want at all. But during like when I tell you, baby, from the day after my second trimester started till the day that he was out, soul experienced cannabis. That's all I'm gonna say. He experienced cannabis during that time period. And I feel like when the first 6 months of his life, he was just so relaxed and go with the flow.
Yes. My third one was the one that it was like the next day after I gave birth. I was like, I'm getting fucking high. Like the first one I took like 3 months. I was so scared and shit. Second one, I was like, this shit is hard, bruh. And I
My
took it
best
like
friend going,
2 weeks. The third one, it was like she was born February 1st. By February 2nd, I was like, roll it up because I'm gonna need to get ready for this.
yeah, nah, I
There's
feel
three
like,
now.
yeah, I feel like to each his own.
Yes.
It's really that study alone. I could do a whole episode on that girl.
Yeah.
Like that study alone is nuts. Like it's crazy. I had a really relaxed pregnancy though, of course. I think I would always want to be pregnant in Costa Rica.
That was beautiful. I mean, it's just a much more different energy, you can tell. And I think that
It's
every woman should have at least one of those experiences while pregnant.
I think so too. My next pregnancy with my twins is going to be very luxurious. I'm going to be
Oh
at like a New York
yes.
birthing center. Like we're going to stay at a New York birthing center and have like aftercare and like
Yes.
all of that. Like yeah, and then I'm
One of
going
my
to go there
clients
on
just
like a
did that.
vacation. Have you
Awesome.
seen the You've seen the thing where they like take them in like the postpartum moms and do like a retreat for them for like 3 days?
I saw
No.
my cousin was, which was also my client. I was her doula, and she um got gifted. She's very an influencer, I guess you could consider. She's an entrepreneur, but her page has a lot of influence, so she gets a lot of brands that reach out to her for partnering. And one of the companies that reached out for her was a place called Borum in actually Midtown, I think, or
Oh
downtown.
wow.
Sure. And it's this whole postpartum care place where they have like lactation consultants, they have pediatricians to take care of your baby if you want to rest at night,
Oh,
where
that's
you can like watch the
beautiful.
baby with a camera or
They have a
something.
chef
Yeah, they have
too.
a chef that's like focused on nutrition. They have nursing rooms where like the moms can have like snacks while they nurse their babies. It was amazing. I was like, I've never even heard of something like that. So it
That's
was
so
great
dope.
because she birthed at home, and then like a week later or so, they packed up and they went over there, and it was like a great vacation. They don't have to take almost anything. They bring you the
Oh,
carriers, they bring you bottles, they bring everything you need. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, I
that's
saw that on Instagram and it's incredible and I want that. I want to go there.
yes.
Sounds awesome.
I love that. They I even further they have massages
Yes,
Oh,
and
yes, I
they could
forgot that
send
part.
you and your partner on a date night. Like y'all could leave the baby
oh
for a
my
little bit
goodness.
or like have alone time or whatever without your kid.
Mhm.
That
But
is
y'all,
so dope. So
if you
dope.
ever want to go down a spiral, we'll go on TikTok and look at like postpartum Korean like nannies, what they
Oh,
be
I've
doing.
seen I've seen that.
Oh, I saw one of them that my friend sent me because she was thinking of doing it, and I was like, "Girl, you got it. Do it.
Do it.
Do it." Because it's her first child. I was like, "Do it. Do it all, girl.
Yeah, that post
Everything.
is very
Everything."
necessary.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
um, this is all our time. I gotta get back to mommy in, right?
I'm done mommying for the night. I'm gonna finish smoking my
Yeah, I'm
joint
about
and I'm gonna watch some
to
Netflix.
be done. I gotta get them into bed now, read their stories and all the requests that they have.
I love that, super mom. Well, it was amazing talking to y'all, and what a vibe. I can't wait to meet in
Love it.
person.
I
Yes,
know.
thank you so much for joining us. This is dope. Yeah, we'll definitely tap in again, just to chat about a bunch of other stuff. I think it's so many conversations we can have when it comes to motherhood and just women and everything as a whole.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, ladies. All right, everybody. That's it for Mommy Mondays. We will catch you next week with an all new episode and also another beautiful mom guest. Thank you for joining us.